Hey Zoomers, welcome back to World Zoom. So happy you could join me again today. Hey, I guess I'll go back to topics about Southeast Asia. I tried about the dire wolves and about immigration things here in the US, and that just isn't, I guess, my channel or doesn't have interest to you. So I'll go back to the things I know better and also are more interest to you. So today's topic, I think, is an interesting one. It's a serious new charge for Vitaly. Things had really been going pretty well for him, as well as could be expected over the course of the last couple weeks. You know, he's in his spot. He knows what the charges are. He's retained counsel. Who knows what price he agreed to be able to have for representation for him. But, it was pretty straightforward. Unjust vexation, verbal abuse, a couple little more serious ones of theft of items when he jumped on that motorcycle and pulled it up about 20 or 30 feet and waited for the guy to catch up to him. He also grabbed that fan out of the restaurant/coffee shop and carried it away. I think he was going to be able to argue pretty easily that YouTube is the entertainment business, and he obviously was not going to steal anything. He was just doing it for clicks and for views. And I think if it gotten to court, which chances are it wouldn't, he would have been able to stay out of that by making that argument like, listen, it was obvious I wasn't going to do it. It was running. I had it. I could have taken it. I didn't. I put it back down. I stopped. I gave it back. When I stole the hat off the security guard, I ran away, but then returned it. I mean, he isn't to give him that, but he's doing it, purely for entertainment purposes. But now yesterday, do you remember the video where he runs up on an older Filipino woman who's pretty well dressed, and he yells at her, "Stop right now or I'm going to rob you." And she's startled and her arms rise up and she stops just dead right on the sidewalk. There doesn't look to be very many people around her at that time. So, that sort of changes the level of what the offenses are when you actually say it out loud. The video's there, the recording is there. Well, she has filed a criminal complaint, which has been accepted by the court. Now, you may not think that's a big deal compared to the criminal charges that have already come to him for vexation and attempted theft and whatever it may be in the litany of charges that immigration and Department of Justice have filed against him. There's additionally a thought that he is going to be charged with working without a work permit. If they can't get any of these to stick, at least they can do a 5-year or lifetime ban of him returning to the Philippines based solely on that charge of working without a work permit. They historically have not done that to YouTubers. They've allowed YouTubers, even on tourist visas, whether that's the legality or not, that hasn't been one that I've seen anyone get charged with. So I'm anxious to see if they are going to charge him with that one. But this lady that has gone forward with counsel to say that he startled her, he threatened to rob her, or he gave her, just about heart failure, and probably did. You could see from her reaction, it did bother her. But this is a whole different ballgame from immigration, for example, right? Immigration, retains his lawyer. The lawyer goes in and meets with the individuals in the immigration. They talk about the charges. They have a chance to say, it's obvious that this, that, or the other. He was just messing around, having fun, trying to get clicks and views. However, this new charge is going to go directly to the court, and I haven't heard yet in Manila where that charge was filed. We'll be able to read it if we know what local court The guys that I knew in Cebu, one had a criminal complaint from a Filipina, and the other had a criminal complaint from a foreigner. Both were available to be read in their entirety. One of them was like 15 pages long. So it's a pretty extensive review to get the court to accept it. So the lady went to the police. She gives the details, provides the video. They then decide that it's a chargeable offense. They take that full document and all the evidence, they present it to the court, and the court decides whether the charge is going to be filed. And in fact, the charge has been filed. So attempted robbery, criminal complaint by the older Filipino lady. Now, this is one that once it's there, and it is there, there's no going behind the scenes to have a negotiation with the judge, for example. You must wait for the court date to come up to have a meeting with the judge. There's only one way that he can get this dismissed, and that is if the lawyer goes directly to the lady that filed the criminal complaint. They have a conversation, talk about the charges, come to some negotiation about remuneration or how much money should be paid, and then she withdraws the complaint. That's the only way out of one that's already in the courts. In immigration, you can agree to a fee, for just about anything up to murder, right? Once it's hit the courts and it's in front of the judge, that's gone. You're not going to the judge and say, hey, for, 2 million pesos or 1 million pesos, like to have this discharged. That'll get you in jail, and the lawyer in jail too. More like the U.S. in that respect, where it just... you can't violate that, even in the Philippines, where such things are known to happen frequently. But it doesn't happen when it hits the court system. And that's why I'm calling it a serious new charge for him, because now it's in the court system versus the immigration. So anyway, I'd love to know what you think about that. That adds a whole mix of both time that he'll be in the jail, the money that he'll have to pay the lawyer, and the money he'll have to pay to settle. If this happens to be a mid to well-to-do Filipino lady, and in the area that he was filming, that's a distinct possibility. You can tell by how she's dressed. Then she may not be, your typical province person that's going to take 50,000 pesos and dismiss the charges. I mean, if he pissed her off or scared her to the extent that her family's going to support her and she has the means to push this through, it honestly could be 2 to 3 years before that comes forward to the court. So this is a new twist. Before, I thought he was going to get out, pretty easily, just time. It was just going to take time. Now, completely dependent on her. It may be more than just time. It could be something substantially more than that. So love to know your guys' thoughts. Until next time, I'll be seeing you guys later. Take care from World Zoo. Bye-bye.